We believe it is our mission to protect and care for people and their environment every day. Pioneering future-focused cleaning and hygiene solutions. Trust the experts to select the best hygiene technology matching your site's challenges and your sustainability vision. Diversey, your global partner for responsible hygiene solutions.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Season 4 of the Diversey BW Hotelier GM Show. This is the first show of the second day of week 5. Time flies, as they say. We're moving fast. We'll tonight complete 5 weeks, and next week's going to be very exciting. There are many surprises. GM Show will go out of India for the first time, where watch out for the end of the show. This season reflects a defining moment for the Indian hospitality industry. As growth accelerates, competition deepens, and guest expectations evolve rapidly. Our Season 4 theme captures exactly this transformation: India at the hospitality inflection point, redefining excellence across every stage segment. Today's episode explores one of the most important operational challenges facing our general managers across India. And that's why the episode theme today is consistency at scale, keeping service sharp across big boxes. We shall get into the details of the topic as we discuss along with a brilliant set of general managers today. You know, as hotels become larger and operations become more complex, with hundreds of rooms, multiple restaurants, large banquet operations, and diverse guest segments, the real leadership challenge becomes ensuring that service excellence remains consistent across every department, every shift, and every guest touchpoint. So this is a fantastic session, like I said. With your permission, let me begin with an introduction to each of our speakers and then begin the discussion. First in is the newest general manager on the show, who's a first-timer, Pradipt Sinha. He's the general manager of the Holiday in Agra, MG Road. Welcome to the show, Pradipt.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Khanna. Thank you so much for this lovely opportunity.
Pleasure having you here, Pradipt. Thank you for being there. Next in is somebody who's logged in from different locations, wherever he's worked, from Guwahati to Gurgaon. I think G is his preference. Nitin Pathak, who's the general manager of the DoubleTree by Hilton, Gurgaon, Baani Square. Welcome to the show once again, Nitin.
Good afternoon, Mr. Khanna, and good afternoon, fellow panelists. Thank you very much for having me on the show, and I would like to contribute to the maximum for this forum. Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you for being here. Next in is somebody we began having on our show in Jaipur. He's now in Zirakpur. Imit Arora, who's the general manager of the Holiday Inn Zirakpur. Welcome to the show, Imit.
Good evening, everyone. It's truly a pleasure to be here and discussing such a relevant and exciting topic.
Imit, your camera is off.
Hi, I'm sorry, it's truly a pleasure to be here discussing such a relevant and exciting topic. Thank you.
Pleasure is ours. Thank you. Next in is somebody who's, like they say, a Purana Papi with us, both of them. Next to Surajit Chatterjee, who's the general manager of the Novotel Goa Panjim. Welcome to the show, Surajit.
Thank you, Bhuvanesh. As always, it's a pleasure to connect with you and, of course, my dear colleagues, and looking forward to have a great discussion on an excellent topic and as creative as you are always.
Thank you. Those are very kind words. Last but not the least, somebody who was with me in Chennai yesterday. I'm, by the way, logging in from Chennai. Namit, Vijh, who's the general manager of the Radisson Gurugram Udyog Vihar. Welcome to the show, Namit.
Evening, Mr. Khanna, and thank you so much for inviting me for this great show. It's been a legacy which we've been following, and you're just building on this great legacy. So congratulations and all the best, sir.
Thank you, Namit. Those are very warm words and they encourage. Now, let me kickstart this session and get rolling with the first question, and that goes to Pradipt. Pradipt, Agra sees a fascinating mix of international tourists, domestic, leisure travelers, and corporate guests. You know, this is one location where you need to be up to your conversion game because it's such a strong magnet and has a pull, courtesy the Taj, of course. Tell me, how do you ensure service consistency across such diverse guest expectations within a large hotel environment?
So yeah, Mr. Khanna, and thank you everyone. Thank you for me. I want to get this opportunity, great opportunity to be in this. So service consistency in a diverse market like Agra requires a balance of standardization and personalization. It comes from understanding that every guest is different, but the quality of service should always be maintained and customized as per the need of the hour. We usually have a mix of guests such as your business travelers, families, staycation guests, international tourists, your leisure travelers. So the team needs to be flexible while still following the hotel service standards. One important aspect is cultural awareness. With international guests and diverse domestic travelers, cultural sensitivity is the key. Since guests come from different countries and backgrounds, the staff needs to be trained to be respectful, attentive, and sensitive to different preferences and expectations. A genuine and a true hospitality wins the heart of most of the guests. Live the culture of Atithi Devo Bhava, where the language plays a great role. It gives comfort through simple but clear communication. Respect for, I think so, different customs, especially during the dining or during any interactions at every step of their journey in the hotel, creates a welcoming and respectful environment for them. At the same time, which is very important, is operational discipline. It's very important, especially during high occupancy periods of the time. The clear communication between the departments, your proper planning, and following operating procedures, which is the SOPs, helps to ensure that service does not suffer even during the busy period or during busy hours. Finally, we focus on maintaining a consistent guest journey, which is very important from the moment a guest makes a reservation until checkout. Having the basics right is very important. In today's days, we all look out for creating experience which is out of the box. But we can't go wrong on our basics. Small things like a smile on the face of the guard from the very beginning, from where the guest is checking in, to a warm welcome in the reception, or clean and hygienic room, an attentive service in the restaurant, calling out by their names, remembering their preferences. All these small things matters a lot, and this needs to be a consistent approach from the top to the bottom. In simple terms, it is about combining standard processes with personalized approach. So every guest receives reliable service while still feeling their individual needs are being understood and met.
Interesting, but tell me, Does Agra ever sleep? Is there ever a dull moment in Agra? Because the pull for the Taj, I don't think lets you have any off season.
So the weather plays a big role. With of course, international travels happens only during the Q4 and Q1, but the domestic travel has been now round the year. It is no more as an off season or a season. And Agra is also not only is above and beyond Taj now.
Yeah.
There is your leather market is there. There are, since this is one destination which is closer to the Delhi NCR and Lucknow, it plays a major role in that case also.
And now with Jaywar starting, of course, it all augurs well for Agra.
Yes, we are all keeping our finger crossed, and I'm sure this is going to be a boon for the Agra hospitality industry. And that's why we see a lot of luxury segments also coming into this segment, into this market.
Lovely. Excellent. Thank you, Pradipt. Thank you so much. Nitin, walking across to you, tell me, Gurgaon is one of India's most competitive corporate hospitality market. I mean, it's Gurgaon, of course, is opening so many new hotels and they're all full and the rates are to kiss home all about. So tell me, in such a fast moving business environment, how do you ensure that speed of service does not dilute service quality?
Thank you once again, Mr. Khanna. It's an opportunity. I mean, we always look forward to every year. I think this is my 4th session with you.
Thank you.
The only one thing I would say, I mean, the balancing between technology and no one knows better than you probably, wherein the technology plays a very vital role in bringing in colleagues together and sharing our experiences and probably the knowledge that we carry since last so many years. Now, coming back to your question, Mr. Khanna, I think Gurgaon, before understanding Gurgaon market, let us understand the speed of service. What does speed of service mean to me, to be honest? I mean, it's a very critical component of a guest satisfaction in a market like Gurgaon or any other corporate market for that matter. In terms of the speed of service that we want to create, or probably how it's going to impact the guest satisfaction, becomes extremely critical for a large box hotels and the other the accommodation areas. For me, understanding what corporate guests needs in terms of technology and connectivity, which includes reliable and high-speed Wi-Fi's, your adaptable areas, quiet surroundings, dedicated and comfortable workspaces, includes other stuff, efficiency like swift check-in, check-out, personalization. My fellow colleague Pradeep already shared about how the industry works. Now coming back to how we maintain the speed of service into our hotels, the big boxes hotel. I might sound little, the old school, but I think recruitment, right from recruitment, training, attrition, these are the areas that we generally focus on. We try to keep our attrition to the lowest level possible. We make people accountable. The team accountability becomes most important into these phases wherein, they have to be proactive, they have to be consistent. And then brand standard discipline also plays a very vital role while ensuring that your speed of service is up to that level where the guest satisfaction or probably the guest need is there. Sustainability also becomes extremely important where staff is trained up to that level wherein they understand what sustainability means. Single-use plastics and all those areas are passe now. Every hotel, every company is talking about single-use plastic. But at the same time, right resourcing of food material, right cage-free access, for an example, is one of those areas wherein we focus on how you are procuring your seafood. That's also becomes extremely important, and that's what the new generation traveler who is coming from the corporate markets and try to differentiate hotel to hotel. So I think these are the important factor. The other thing which I would say, what we are trying to do is we are trying to, Hilton as a company has lot many, on technological front, I would say we are the forerunners. In terms of Kipsus, which is a WhatsApp app where a guest starts interacting with the hotel staff before he checks in. Personalization also comes into the picture. YQ, where guest can order without picking up a phone from his room, just scanning a QR code. That's the another area that we are, that the company focuses on. So by saying that, what I'm trying to say is the company focuses on a balance between a human touch and technology both together. And my role as a general manager or the leader of the hotel is just to ensure that people are empowered, they are accountable, they are following, they are absolutely disciplined in terms of brand standards, and we are bringing on the table what is required to serve a guest with the speed and with the consistency and the quality of services.
Some of these things are now second skin because they're routine now.
Right.
I think we, as hoteliers, we have to up our game. Now, these are basics that a guest expects even from a budget and economy hotel, right?
Right.
I mean to say unbranded budget economy hotel.
Right. But Mr. Khanna, to be honest, I mean, let me tell you, as I said, multiple factors like focus on training, focus on right recruitment, focus on empowering people, focus on empowering those people who have been into the system since long duration of time. They understand what service quality mean rather than putting your efforts and time into training someone who is new on the board.
I keep saying a hotel, of course, is like a large enterprise, a ship. Most importantly, it is an orchestra.
Correct.
Everybody has to play to the master's instructions, right? No note can be away. Your engineering guy, your housekeeping guy, your security fellow, your experience starts the moment the driver picks up the guest from the airport and drops him, and ends when he drops him back, right?
True.
Right? What are your follow-ups? How do you welcome him? Does he get the information soon as he lands or before he takes off?
So Kipsu, as I said, Mr. Khanna, Kipsu is one of those platforms wherein guest starts interacting while he's booking a room with us.
Well, I'm fine with that. But for the larger audience, I mean, don't consider your job to be a standalone. No, sorry. You're part of the entire jigsaw. Right?
Yeah, I understand. I understand what you are asking, actually. So that's what I'm saying. I mean, if you are consistent enough, if you are brand standard disciplined, I think most of your things are taken care of.
How does everybody carry themselves? Don't be overindulgent. Just be indulgent as the guest would accept, right? Don't go overboard. Don't try to get too friendly.
Correct. I mean, these are just the basics. That's what I was trying to say.
Very nice.
But when you empower people, who are working for you, when the people know, okay, what is the limit line they have to, they have to be there. I mean, they need not to cross a line which is intruding into the privacy or probably taking more time while speaking to a guest. So those are the areas that we
Excellent. Thank you, Nitin. That's very valuable. Imit, now that you are in the thick of Chandigarh, Punjab, right? Properties like Holiday Inn, Zirakpur often handle weddings, banquets, transient guests simultaneously. We all know Delhi, Punjab, North India, the weddings are kickers. They are huge, right? Or even the banquets. How do you maintain service sharpness when multiple large-scale events are taking place at the same time?
Well, maintaining service level sharpness during multiple large events totally relies on preparation, coordination, and your leadership presence. I would say strong, you have to treat each event as a separate project, which should clearly define roles, timelines, and responsibilities. When team members exactly know what is expected, the confusion is minimized. For example, the pre-con happening before the event takes place. Secondly, you should have strong interdepartmental communication, which is very essential. Teams such as banquet, kitchen, front office, housekeeping should work in sync rather than lonely, as even minor gaps can affect the guest experience. I would say, you have to tailor service to guest expectation. Wedding guests may expect flexibility, energy, a wow experience. Corporate clients look for efficiency. A transit guest prioritize, comfort and minimal disturbance. So in practice, this would mean, arranging a separate breakfast area for the transit guest and assigning them the, separate floors to avoid disruption during the large events. I would say maintaining clear, proactive communication with guests, like the event guest, helps manage expectations, I would say, and ensure they feel informed and comfortable throughout the event. I would say during peak hours, unexpected changes are expected. There, on floor leadership comes into the picture. You have to make sure that quick decision makings, manages last minute requests, and prevents service delays. That is the role of a leadership presence on the floor. Ultimately, I would say no matter how complex operations are behind the scene, the guest experience must remain seamless. Busy operations are normal, but chaos, if any, should never be visible to the guest.
Agree. But the guests up Punjab can be very, very demanding,
Yes.
right? So everybody wants the best bang for their rupee. So you have to be very smart to manage all those situations. And why not? They're paying money.
You have to be flexible enough. When the guests are coming in terms of large events, in terms of weddings, you have to create experience for them. It's experience which they take it back. So obviously you have to be flexible. You can't go with the SOPs. You as for the pre-con, what has happened. You have to be flexible depending on the event while it's taking place.
All right. Thank you, Imit. So now I'll take off for Goa all the way from Chandigarh. I'm sure there's a direct flight. To Surajit, Goa has that, quite like Agra, Rajasthan, Jaipur, a magnet where the pipes are full, the guests are coming. The game is very different. It's a leisure destination where guest expectations are experience driven. They come with a set of objectives: beach, seafood, alcohol, and fun time. How do large hotels maintain consistent service excellence during peak tourism seasons? And nobody there better to respond to this. You are like the quintessential Goanese hotelier.
Thank you, Bhuvanesh. Very good evening, and to my dear colleagues. And thank you, Bhuvanesh, for always creating this great forum. I'm being so innovative with such topics, and it's great to hear everybody and learn as well. We always share our thoughts. So Goa, as you said, it's a global known leisure destination now, and I have been in Goa for almost 6 years now. Where came during pandemic, and after pandemic, the entire experience has changed. Goa was different. We had a lot of foreign clients before, with the charters coming in, and post pandemic, domestic tourism has grown by almost 70%, and foreign tourism has dropped by almost 50-60%. So the entire market scenario has changed. However, as Goa is known as a leisure destination and guest expectations are always high, always experience driven, especially during peak tourism season. The first key factor which comes in is, of course, the team preparedness. Now, every successful hotel start preparing weeks or even months before the peak season begins. However, saying that, peak season in Goa is now 365 days, except a few of the monsoon months. So we are ready always. When I talk about preparedness, we have training is an important part of it. So where we do refresher training, cross training between the departments, so we can help each other. We have clear operational briefings, SOP training. Attrition is very high in Goa, of course, with more than 40, 50 five-star hotels. So we have to keep training the people to have that consistency in the services. Maintaining experience consistency is very, very critical. Guests may not see the operational pressure behind the scene, but they should always experience the seamless service experience which we give. And of course, it's a cycle. As Pradipt said, the experience starts from the security and ends at the security gate. Every hotel, to improve, are creative in giving guest experiences, and we have to be consistent in that. Otherwise, it becomes very difficult to get that repeat client as well. And Goa also has got a lot of repeat clientele. Especially my hotel has a casino, so I've got a lot of repeat clientele as well. Now, guests may not see a lot of things behind what's happening, but every touch point is an experience when a guest checks in. As you said, there are they come with a checklist, what to do and what not to do. Now, how do we change that experience being in the hotel? Uh, Guests generally dine outside with a lot of restaurants and on offer. How we keep them in the hotel, give them that experience, and is what consistency only brings in. So to maintain the housekeeping standards, the food quality, the guest interactions, regardless how busy the hotel is, there are huge inventory hotels having 50, 60 weddings in a year, and plus you have the FIT guests and international travelers. So it's very, very important that we maintain that consistency. The operational agility, during peak periods, situations keep changing. Guest arrival times are different. With Goa having two different airports now, of course, the occupancy is stable and it is growing with domestic tourism increasing. So guest arrivals, events, service requests increase dramatically at times. And how flexible we are maintaining the consistency is very, very, very important for all of us. So we are operational agility, as I said, is very important. So ability to respond in quick time to the challenging guest needs. From a doctor on a call to every nook and corner opportunity, what you get is a service experience. So we need training, we need leadership presence. A lot of my colleagues said about it. Managers remain visible, provide guidance and support to the teams, maintain the staff motivation during high pressure periods, being hands-on at the restaurant or at the lobby or at the housekeeping, going through the SOPs on a little bit of a slow day, maybe a weekday, weekends are always busy. So all these opportunities are there, and being consistent, we always, grab these opportunities and make it experience for our guests.
Thank you. That's extremely valuable. Yeah. Not easy to manage a hotel with a casino because the pressures are different.
Yeah, very
So
different.
they're always on guests. So they're on a routine. कि बाहर जाना नहीं है, यहीं पे खेलना है, जीतना है, mood swings in the works.
Yeah.
Of course.
Very challenging situations in the night. After 9 o'clock till 4:30, every day you get a new experience.
Oh, yeah. Some experience you can do without, but I guess that's part of the job. Thank you so much, Surajit. Namit, tell me, like I was talking to Nitin, Gurugram is one of the most competitive hotel markets, fiercely competitive. And also, it also caters to Delhi, with demanding corporate travelers and intense brand competition. So, in a large business hotel like Radisson Udyog Bihar, how do you ensure service consistency day after day when occupancy is high and guest expectations are even higher? Udyog Bihar is actually, where your hotel is. You've got Leela here, you've got Oberoi there, you've got the Trident there. And you're in the thick of Udyog Vihar, which is the business district. Boliye.
Thank you, Mr. Khanna. So it's a great location to be in. And honestly, Gurgaon has really seen and square feet of more spaces coming in. It's been an exponential growth for all of us. But with growth comes obviously expectations, and the expectations for the corporate traveler obviously remains very quick service, a good bed, comfortable bed, and great breakfast experience, great Wi-Fi. But obviously, like my other colleagues, we believe in a lot of proactive approach towards our guests. So we have ensured that we have a very strong pre-arrival process, rooms controller, guest relations who basically are on top of arrivals, because almost 15 to 18% of occupancy some days gets picked up in the day for the day. So planning becomes extremely crucial. And consistency becomes even more crucial, right? So as Radisson branded hotel and a managed hotel, we ensure that consistency is maintained at all levels, and also empowering team, because the guests need not wait for any manager to take a decision, right? Our associates are empowered to take decisions hands-on. And in case there is any situation, then obviously the manager or the MOD or the general manager gets involved. But it is very critical that we keep the ship rolling. And as captain of the ship, I ensure that every day, though it is a new day, but a lot of our guests are coming repeat. So obviously they come back because of the level of service and experience what we are able to give them.
Well, thank you, Namit. That's, your situation. I don't know how your weekends are.
So, Mr. Khanna, weekends have really picked up. Year round, we are doing around 90% occupancy. So, weekends also, we are touching between 85 to 88% occupancy. But what we have tried to do differently in terms of just giving a quick overview, we've tried to make this like a midway destination between Delhi and Gurgaon and added a lot of facilities to the hotel. We've got a gaming zone, almost 15,000 square feet managed by Zirakpur. We've just opened a first pickleball court in Gurugram. So trying to make it as a destination wherein families can come, stay over the weekend, enjoy, and obviously spend a night at the hotel. So we have seen our weekend occupancies also really going up.
Excellent. And does the Delhi crowd fill in?
So yes, as it is just at the juncture between Delhi and Gurgaon, so we get a lot of overflow from Dwarka, Yashobhumi, as well as AeroCity. So anytime there is a citywide event which is happening in AeroCity or Yashobhumi, or even sometimes in Bharat Mandapam, the overflow comes towards us as well, and then obviously it moves into other hotels in Gurugram. So
थोड़ा ज़्यादा नहीं हो गया?
सर होता है AI एक्सपो में तो हम आपको सबको पता ही है सिटी का क्या हाल था.
नोट छापे.
Good problem to have, I would say.
All right. So thank you, Namit. I'll take a short 20-second break, commercial break. We've come to the midpoint, and then we step into the next question with Pradipt.
Certainly.
At Diversey, we believe it is our mission to protect and care for people and their environment every day. Pioneering future-focused cleaning and hygiene solutions. Trust the experts to select the best hygiene technology matching your site's challenges and your sustainability vision. Diversey, your global partner for responsible hygiene solutions.
And our valuable partner, Diversey. So it's 4 seasons. They backed us up and great. And we've been able to beam this show across the world and with a very, very large following now. So yeah, it's a blessing. And which augurs well for the industry. Pradipt, tell me, how important is frontline empowerment in ensuring service consistency across large operational teams?
That's a very interesting point. If you see in most of our forums, like Mr. Pathak said, Mr. Vijh said, as well as Mr. Chatterjee said, that you are seeing a lot of attrition in our industry currently.
True.
It's important that the people, and we have a wide range of staff which comes from either a Gen Zs or people those who are more experienced. So we have a mix of staff in our every organizations in the hospitality industry. A micromanagement doesn't work in today's days. It's very important that the decision, even the frontline associates, those who actually are with a multiple touch point there with the guest, needs to be empowered with this decision-making authority. This actually resolves small guest concerns immediately. You don't have to be in front of the guest and say that, let me get back to you. When you start saying that, let me get back to you, actually, you are not that confident in front of the guest. And it says that maybe you are wrong, or maybe you have done something which you need time to make sure the guest. That timing is very important in empowering the front line, because a guest needs a solution then and there. It cannot be that a problem has occurred in the morning and you are getting back to them in the evening. It may have hampered, the negativity of that must have gone 100 folds. So it's one that is very important for the frontline staff. Second, it gives the staff confidence. In today's days, when the employee knows that the management trusts them, they make certain decisions, they feel very responsible and take ownership of it. They get motivated to deliver the best. A confident staff naturally provides better and consistent guest experience. So in this case, the other thing is the service recovery. Sometimes it is correlated as an empowerment into as a service recovery. I think so. This service recovery for an empowerment should not be correlated. In our industry, a service recovery is basically to ensure that the guest is come back to you. They are a loyal guest to you. It's a very minute on very little things to have as such to give as a service recovery. If a guest faces an issues, empowered team members can quickly take corrective actions, whether it is offering a solution, empathizing and apologizing sincerely, arranging an alternative to a solution. So the quick recovery often turns a negative experience into a positive one.
So empowerment is extremely critical. You need to arm your staff up via training and give them that space. They may make mistakes.
Yes, as a general managers, we should have that appetite of taking that risk.
Yes.
Giving that empowerment.
True.
And that's why we have the duty managers, the HODs, the general managers to be there and backing them up.
And remember, the guests are going to be very demanding.
Absolutely.
Extremely demanding. I've seen that. But then that is where you need to up your game and be able to deliver the challenge.
So this should boil down from the top. It's about culture. It's about building that culture. It should not be a culture of that. If a guest is demanding, that means he is looking for something freebies. No, it is about they know their stuff. True. They are well traveled.
Yes, they're there and they're spending money.
Absolutely. Value for money comes into play.
Yeah.
And it gives them ownership culture. An employee feels that they are personally responsible for their guest satisfaction.
True.
And they start treating every interaction more seriously with the care. The commitment is very high. So in simple terms, if you ask me, when frontline teams are trusted, trained, and empowered, they become more confident, more responsive, and more accountable. So that leading to a consistent and high quality service across the hotel.
Lovely. That's extremely valuable, Pradipt. Thank you so much for your responses, and they're a learning. Nitin, given with the weight of your experience and the time you spent in the industry across brands and locations, what leadership practices help keep large teams aligned and motivated in high demand corporate hotels?
Mr. Khanna, I think communication plays a very vital role while you are, while you are on the shop floor, how you communicate. And probably empowerment, as you rightly said, my previous speaker, Pradipt, rightly said, empower becomes extremely important. But unless and until your communication, there is a communication rhythm in place, I mean, it would be very difficult to empower people also. What kind of meetings are you doing with them? Is it a one-to-one conversation or it's a group meeting that you are holding? What is the kind of predictable or probably a outcome that you are asking out of those meetings? How long is your morning meetings? It should not. Now today, the kind of people that we are dealing with, or over the period of time, I have realized, unless and until you are to the point, it becomes very difficult to make people understand what is expected out of them. Another leadership quality which I firmly believe in is to throw people into water. I mean, let them swim out and we will not let you drown. That is the kind of, the thought process that has to be there. When someone jumps into a swimming pool or someone jumps into a water, the idea is to just swim out of the water and take, and do whatever right. But at the same time, if the employee is having back in mind, there is someone who is looking after him, he will not let him drown. I'm 100% sure the results and the outcomes are absolutely in the lines of whatever you have thought of. So I think communication becomes very important. If I want to give it into an operational point of view, I think morning meeting for not more than 30 minutes with a predictable structure. Okay, this is the structure of the morning meeting. Then you have a weekly meeting. Then you have a strategy meeting. So meetings have replaced a direct one-to-one kind of a communication when you are addressing a larger group of people and telling what your vision and what is your style of working is. So I think communication becomes extremely important. And by saying that, what I'm trying to say is listening, which is a part of a communication skills as well, becomes also very important, wherein you are listening to your fellow colleagues, your people, even the downline staff, what they're feeling. And importantly, these people should have that kind of a, the guts, I would say, or that kind of a courage to speak up. What is it that they are feeling, so that they are empowered and they can take your vision forward. So I think that's one of the most important leadership trait I believe in.
All right, lovely. So tell me, do you also do your mock sessions
Mock sessions, in the sense you are talking about the role
with the
plays?
staff that you're give them situations
Yeah.
and
So
tell them,
So, Mr. Khanna, I mean, as you rightly said, last 25 years have been an enriching experience for me, to be honest. And every day is a different. We all hoteliers know it's a very dynamic kind of an atmosphere that we work in. Every day is a different. And we carry those small, the incidents or the probably when you have handled the guest. And when there is a formal platform wherein you can share these experiences to your fellow people, fellow colleagues, fellow staff, they actually listen to you and they understand that this is what real experience is all about. And they can, handle with this kind of an experience, they can handle the situation much better. I have done a little stint into learning and development also. So what I believe is probably to take a session for the entire staff at least once a month, wherein this session can be for about hour or probably hour and a half, wherein you are just picking up a topic. For an example, what coaching is all about, what anticipatory services are all about, what empathy is all about, and you try to connect it with the experiences you are having since last 25, 30 years I have been working. So that makes a forum not a training session, but it's a session wherein people exchange their thoughts and they take away, a good experience kind of a stuff when they are out of the classroom or the training session.
oh, lovely. This is how we all developed. Somebody
Yeah.
gave us the space, somebody let us take decisions, somebody let us make mistakes,
Right.
or somebody pushed us into the deep of the swimming pool and said, listen, go swim or sink, but come out winning.
Yeah. Yeah,
All
so
right.
that's what I said. I just wanted to share one of the small experience while training the people. When we train people who are just coming into the industry, the freshers. I still remember when I started my journey, I was counting notes. I was doing a foreign exchange to a foreigner, a UK lady of 80 years old, and my boss was standing just beside me, and I will taking little more time in counting the notes. The lady was smiling at me, and my boss said, "Ma'am, excuse me, because the guy is new, so that's why he's taking much time." And lady quickly said, "Tomorrow he will not be new." I think those are the small instances when you
What did
teach
she
people.
say? What did she say?
She said, "Tomorrow he won't be new. He will not be new. Tomorrow he will be gaining experience, and tomorrow he will be the one who is considered as an expert." And that
So,
is the small instance that we teach our people on the ground and say, today you can make mistake. Today you are new, but tomorrow you won't be new.
true, very valuable, very well said.
Very powerful phrase, and that stands with me today itself. Today also, I mean, I'm sure it will take. Yeah.
Thank you for relating this incident. I'm sure the team over there is making note of it for social media. Thank you, Nitin.
Thank you, Mr.
Imit, back to you. I'm in Chandigarh, Punjab, and banquets. I keep coming back to that. Tell me, banquet-driven hotels often experience intense operational peaks. What systems ensure that the guest experience does not suffer during these high-pressure moments?
Well, banquet-driven hotels operation peaks are usual. The challenge isn't the pressure itself, but how we maintain control to ensure seamless guest experience. To achieve this, you have to rely on certain systems. It starts with a pre-con meeting with the operation department ahead of the event, which is which happens everywhere. We need to have a single point of contact. Every event has a dedicated lead who can make quick, empowered decision as the situation involved. Like we are talking empowerment in this session. Empowerment is very important. This ensures smooth execution and clear accountability. Then you should have real-time communication with the team members. Our team members receive continuous updates on events progress, with the WhatsApp group and all. This allows staff to respond quickly rather than relying solely on the pre-event plans. Then you should have the guest approach. Guest focus approach should be there. Guests are shielded from any operation challenges. For example, if a meal is delayed, a single point of contact proactively engages with the guest, maintaining a positive experience, and while back-end adjustments happen seamlessly. We should also have a rapid service recovery. Errors are addressed immediately. Staffs are trained to resolve guests facing issues quickly and discreetly, minimizing the disruption. We also have a built-in contingency plan like back office support, which are ready in advance. If this allows the team to adapt quickly to unexpected changes like increase of number of packs without impacting the service. Uh, I would say successful business operations rely on carefully on pre-event planning, real-time communication, clear ownership, and a service recovery mindset. The teams are trained to stay calm under pressure, uh, ensuring guests are always perceive confidence and control, even when challenges arises behind the scene.
Uh, I agree with you. I completely agree with you. Surajit, back to Goa, tell me how guest expectations are evolving rapidly in leisure destinations. Because the profile of the guest from international to domestic and domestic to within domestic and international, the current generation, which can be unpredictable, but then that's because we don't know them. How do hotels ensure service consistency while also continuously innovating guest experiences?
Great question, Bhuvanesh. I mean, today's hospitality industry must deliver consistency while we always constantly evolve and grow, being creative and innovative, right? Um, I think the first key element is the strong feedback which we get from all the feedback from the social media to all the feedback loops which we get. Every hotel collects these feedbacks through reviews, surveys, direct conversations, and people we meet and talk. And when we go and meet people, also, they tell us about their experience in their previous hotels or any other hotel they have stayed. So, which is also where we create and we think about how innovative we can. However, keeping consistency in mind, we always note what guests loves, what improvement they are looking at, what are the new experience they are seeking. So we design the experience for our guests, especially in a leisure destination where a guest is looking forward to and he's a first timer. We always think about the experience design from his airport pickup to the airport drop. Now, hotels today think beyond room and focus on the entire guest journey or the guest cycle from arrival to departure, as I said. Now, this may include curated local experiences. It includes wellness offerings. It includes a personalized service. It might have unique food and beverage concepts which we do in our hotels. So, how can we keep this consistent? Giving them this creativity is very, very important. And where we follow our core, being innovative, we always follow our core service standards and we remain strong on that. As I said in my previous question, that SOPs and trainings are very, very important. So while we evolve and we are creative and innovative, we always remain strong on our core service. So staff adaptability to that core service is very, very important. And whenever we think of being creative, we always look at the guest response, how the guest will think. So we keep ourselves on the guest shoes and think, how will the guest respond in real time? And of course, continuous improvement is what brings in the guest back. And it's always, if you talk for a wedding, we promote it, but it is always the word of mouth which gets us back one more wedding or two more wedding or three more wedding. So it's the innovation in the setup to the delivery of service experience, as well as creating that experience, giving it to that with a consistency from food to the service standard to the snack service or whatever you call it. So it's a complete whole experience which is consistent, and that's what a guest looks at when we are innovative. So it's very important that we are evolving, being consistent, following our service standards, following our SOPs, and is there whenever a guest needs, understanding their challenges.
And the guest expectations between different guests will be so varied that
Absolutely.
you'll have to be so malleable and
Absolutely, yeah.
flexible.
Yeah, from a MICE guest, which we do a lot of MICE events in Goa, of course. We do a lot of weddings. And of course, then we have a casino guest. So every guest has a different experience, and their lookout for every thing is different. So keeping that in mind and delivering this, reading their mind, at check-in, what all questions you ask and what all they are looking for a 2 days or 3 days stay. In a business hotel, it's just mostly a 1.5 days stay, but here it is 2.5, 3 days stay. So you have to give them that experience in those 2.5, 3 days, which they will remember. Creating memories basically with consistency.
All right. Thank you so much, Surajit. That was very detailed and I enjoyed that. Namit, back to you. We've come back very fast, actually. We've covered a good amount of distance. So tell me, big spots, city hotels depend heavily on strong systems and well-trained teams, which is actually a given. But from your experience, what are the key leadership practices that help keep service standards sharp across every department every single day?
So, Mr. Khanna, I believe all of us spoke about the empowerment, consistency, SOPs, but I think great hotels are built by the people. So, obviously, as a general manager, one of my most important responsibilities is to keep the team motivated. So, we have built in a lot of I would say, employee activities, whether it is talking about incentives, whether it is talking about cultural moments, taking them out for picnics, ensuring that we grow talent from within the hotel and within Radisson Hotel Group. All these activities obviously help keep the team motivated and aligned with the overall cause of the hotel and the brand as well. In terms of overall empowerment and in terms of overall focus towards training, we have a L&D head who basically ensures that basically anyone or any associate who joins our hotel, even an apprentice who joins our hotel, goes through a Yes I Can training. So Yes I Can basically states that the employee is completely empowered to take a decision and to ensure that the guest, whosoever walks into the hotel doors, is well taken care of, and the employee is completely given free hand, including certain empowerment in terms of monetary empowerment as well, to ensure that 360-degree excellence is given towards guest stay. Though we are an upscale hotel and a brand, but we ensure that we compete with the luxury hotels, and the associates are the ones who are getting the job done for us.
True, true. Yeah, but then this has to be a routine which cannot be skipped. It has to be work in progress every day. It's like a machine which is geared to deliver.
Yes, I completely agree, sir. Brands are not built in a day. Hotels, reputations take many years, and I've seen this hotel transition from what it was to what it is today. And we've really put in heart and soul and trying to ensure that every guest who comes to the hotel leaves with an experience. Also,
And given
as
the
a brand,
attrition in this industry, so the trained go out and whom you've invested, and the freshers come in and whom you have to invest. And time is money, and it's so fluid that I think that's a huge challenge.
Completely agree. But obviously, we try and build not only career for our associates in our hotel, but the culture of we grow talent, and talent grows us is profound in Radisson Hotel Group. So we promote internal talent, and the
So I remember
way
that
we are coming up with
that
tier.
you guys write. Yeah.
So the way we are promoting hotels in tier 2, tier 3 cities, obviously associates also know they can grow back nearer to their hometowns. So the attrition is much more well controlled as compared to maybe our competitors.
That's what. There's no competition. There's room for everybody. You're all co-travelers in the same industry, in that same environment. So there's no competition really. All right.
Completely agree.
So that brings us to the end of the questioning, but I have this quick one to do with you, which we call the rapid sign-off round. Are you guys up to the game? It'll be quick. 1 or 2 word responses, maximum 3. So tell me when you're ready and I'll begin. I'll read out a line and then speak your name and you have to tell me what. So complete the sentence. The secret to service consistency at scale is Pradipt Sinha.
Our discipline team.
All right. Are you sure? Do you want to add to it? This is it.
So no, as a discipline, we in IG as well as most of the brand, they
3 words, 2 to 3 words.
as I said, a well-disciplined and having a followed SOPs, of course.
That's 6 words. All right. Nitin?
Khanna, I would say it's brand standard discipline and a communication rhythm in place.
All right. Yeah, very nice. Imit?
Empowered staff.
All right. Surajit?
Guest focused isn't a task, but it's a culture.
All right. Namit, you?
For me, it is motivation and communication with the team.
I completely agree with you. All right. Thank you. Now, if I was to sum up the show, here is how I would sum it up. You know, today's discussion clearly highlights that scale does not dilute service excellence when leadership culture and operational discipline remain strong. We as leaders have to measure up and stand up to exacting standards. All right, we're the generals of the army. And like my late father used to say, what the last standing soldier does on the floor is a true reflection of what the general manager thinks and how he thinks. I think his success is going to be your success. So if I was to sum up, Pradipt, who's a first timer, highlighted the importance of understanding diverse guest expectations. Nitin spoke about operational discipline in a fast-paced corporate market. Imit emphasized teamwork in high-volume banquet operations, being in Punjab, Zirakpur. Surajit reminded us the importance of the experience design in leisure destinations. And Namit, who sits at the crossroads of Delhi and Gurgaon in a highly pressurized corporate location, that catchment is huge. He highlighted how operational discipline and strong leadership on the floor are critical to maintaining service consistency in large city hotels. You know, together their perspectives reinforce that service consistency ultimately depends on strong leadership and empowered teams, which is what these 5 gentlemen have brought to the table, and that is why they run successful large box hotels. In conclusion, if I was to say, I have a lot of words, but let me begin with a sincere thanks to all our distinguished general managers on the show for sharing their valuable insights today. I would also put my hands together for Diversey and thank them as a valuable partner, along with the team, with my colleagues at BW Businessworld and BW Hotelier, who make this platform possible. It's not easy to produce these shows. They are tough lads and ladies. They slog it out 24/7. Scheduling is not an easy task. Content is not an easy task. Pushing the show live is not an easy task. Some of our colleagues are fasting, and it'll be Eid tomorrow, so happy Eid to them. And I'm also delighted to share that the season 4 of the Diversey BW Hotelier GM show has opened with some of the strongest viewership numbers in our journey thus far. And I request all speakers and viewers to continue sharing the episode links across your professional networks, WhatsApp groups, so these conversations reach the widest possible hospitality audience. Thank you all for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you at the next episode in just about 30 minutes. But before I go away, a short 20-second break for a Diversey video.
At Diversey, we believe it is our mission to protect and care for people and their environment every day. Pioneering future-focused cleaning and hygiene solutions. Trust the experts to select the best hygiene technology matching your site's challenges and your sustainability vision. Diversey, your global partner for responsible hygiene solutions.
Thank you once again. Let me begin by thanking Surajit, Nitin, Imit, Namit, and Pradipt. You're the first one here, your first time. All right, but thank you all once again. I enjoyed doing the show with you and look to see you back soon someday.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you
Khanna.
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
God
Khanna.
bless you. Bye-bye.